Hey guys, welcome to Just Be Handy. Just wanted to show you, like, we're going to take out this door and then put in a new door. And one of the things I recommend is before you start, you go to the outside and you break all the caulking and other things that may be holding up the door before you start working on the inside, like some of the videos I've seen where they just go take the trim off on the inside and then push the door through. You don't know if this is going to grab your siding and just rip it all out. So definitely get a knife to cut through here and make sure the door is separated from your siding, or get an oscillating tool and just go in straight through like that with the oscillating tool. Make sure it's all separated before you go do anything else. Also check out the whole base of the door, make sure there's nothing holding onto it, that'll come out fine, and then you can go to the inside and start ripping things out. You know, you got to remove your storm maybe and things like that. So anyways, it's time to get rid of this door. It leaks like a sieve, so we'll be replacing it with that feather light door that we saw earlier in the other video. Alright guys, so I did go back with the oscillating tool and I went sideways and this way to just get the caulking off, and as you can see, here's a little bit, so I'll go back with the knife and just clean that up. And I went all the way around and you could see it's gonna be loosened up. These siding is loose enough so that when we push the door out, it's not going to rip the siding out, and that's something you have to be careful of. And then I also went and did the base piece there that was underneath. I went on the concrete, underneath the concrete between the door sill here and that board, and I just went and made sure everything is loose. Now I'll pry that baseboard out and go to the inside afterwards to start taking the trim off, and then using a sawzall with a steel blade to cut any nails or screws that are holding the door in place. Alright guys, you could see I took out that baseboard. It's over there. The siding goes across the bottom of it. And okay, next we're going to remove this trim so that we can have access to all the bolts and behind there, take them off with a sawzall. What I like to do is work from the inside and try to get that loose, get a good putty knife and push on it. If that doesn't work, get a small pry bar and then pry from the inside. Don't go from the outside here and do this, because you'll put a hole in your drywall. If you have to come to the outside, put a putty knife or something behind it like this so that you could have some backing for that. So, alright guys, next thing to get is a sawzall with a steel blade. This is a Diablo blade that I got at Home Depot. And then 16 gauge 2.5 inch long nails just to prep the door for making it straight and level before you go and put in your screws. Alright, so definitely nice to have that. You don't really need the nail gun. You could definitely have somebody help you and then put in your screws right away, but having the nail gun helps level everything, test it out before you go make it final. Hey guys, here's why it's best to do a DIY. They had a rotted piece of wood laying up on top of there that somebody put in, and I think they did it before they poured this concrete step. The water used to get in and there was no tape, no caulking, nothing. It's just glued to it, and it's As you could see, we had to take it off, and thankfully they did cut it back far enough and it's not going to ruin the floor. But this is added work, and this is why it's nice to do a DIY. If you hired this out, they might just say, hey, rate, time, it's okay, it's loose, I don't care, and then just leave it. I have to do a backing board, put another piece in, then I'm going to put a special tape that I'll roll back on there, and then that seals everything for the doorstep, and we'll go from there. So do the job right, take your time. Again, that's why you have to take your time with these things and do them. So door is out, finding issues, got to take care of them before you put the new door in. Alright guys, hope this is helpful. Okay guys, so this is what the fix was. We put a boards in there, we put in the plywood, and then added the base tape here, baseboard tape, so that no water can get in there. So next we'll be able to put in the door. We made sure all the nails are been taken out, everything is ready so that the door will slip right in. We've measured the door already and it has the proper rough dimensions, so we're good to go. Alright guys, we did a dry fit to see how it would fit in, and now we've got some caulk on the threshold. This side was going to be tight, so we put a bead of caulk on the outer edge, and you could see now the door is going to go in. Everything's been prepped, and then what we'll do is use polymer shims, level everything, drive it in with a few nails with the air gun, and then after that we'll figure out how to put in the screws to really hold it down. Alright guys, so the first step was to get this side level with the hinges so that everything was level and closed properly. Then this side, made sure the gap is as good as we can get it so that the trim on the outside, the seal, had even pressure. And then for the outer side where the door is, we put in the screws here, pilot drill, and then put the screws on the outside. So that'll hold everything just right. And there you go. See, everything, once the lock is in, is going to fit just nicely. Alright guys, we'll go to the next step, put the locks in, and then put the storm door on, and then trim. Hey guys, looks like Feather River made a little bit of a mistake. You can see here we marked where the strike pin from the door would come, and it's off the center by about 1/4 of an inch maybe, or 1/2 an inch off. So you can see there we have the handle on, and then when you go to close it, it's off by 1/2 an inch. This top one was fine because that's where it was holding the door, but somebody misdid the spacing on here. Alright guys, so I put on the screen door real quick so that I could finish fixing up the mistake here from the manufacturer. Basically, to get the striker plate down, I have to come down to this level. This is the line where the bolt has to go through. Actually, it's down to here. This was the center line. So I have to basically cut this hole down a little bit further. Quickly to tell you how nice the installation of this Anderson was. all I had to do, they had all kinds of clips in it. All I had to do was center it between the two, make sure it was level, put in these outer screws, then open up the door and put in these inner screws, and then put the handle on, and that was it, guys. I mean, 45 minutes like they said. That's why I didn't videotape this. It's so simple. You just follow the instructions and it goes in real easy. So as you can see, I got a big gap to fill up there, get some caulking going. It's going to be a long night, but let me show you the end result. So I can't close that because the striker plate isn't there, but there you go. Big difference of what it used to be and what it is now. And yeah, when finish it up, I'll put the baseboard there, caulk it up, and it'll be nice and sealed for the winter. And the nice thing about this door, this whole glass pops right off by putting this up and then turning the handle up, and it pops out the glass, and then you could put the screen in there. So it'll be nice. All I have to do next is put in the 2 shocks into the frame there, but again, I'm more worried about getting this secure for the night and then buttoning up everything, putting all my tools away, and then tomorrow I'll deal with insulating and all that. Alright guys, I ended up taking the striker plate down about a 1/4 inch, and then I used the chisel to kind of open this up until the bolt was able to go in there properly. Now the door is able to close, no problem, and so I'll let Feather River know they're off by about a 1/4 inch on my door, and then we'll go from there. Thank you. Alright guys, I put some frog tape on the trim on the inside of the door. I'm going to use some Great Stuff foam, put it in there, and then as I go I'm going to move the tape over so it only expands outward, not back in, and then makes a mess for me. And you can see I just have it all the way around the trim. This is loose so I can get in there and do the foam, and I'll start from the bottom, go up and then across, and then just push the tape back in so that again the foam expands the other way. Again, make sure you get the window and door stuff. Don't use the Great Expanse stuff when you're doing windows and doors. Alright, here we go. I'm going to do that. I won't videotape that. I'm just going to do it because I need both hands and I don't have a head cam or anything like that. Alright, this is the door after it's been completed. Sorry I didn't record everything because I've had quite a few issues along the way and it was getting very cold, so I had to rush and get it done. But you can see one of the issues I had with the door was this part was a little bit higher than this part of the door frame, so when I put on the trim it kind of raised it. I could have lowered that so the trim would have fit better, but I just let it go. That's a little mismatch from the door manufacturer. The other issue I had was the striker didn't line up on the frame, so I had to move it down almost a 1/4 inch to make it fit. And so that was one of the things, is the hole was not right, so I had to chisel that out and get it to fit, and it was about a 1/4 inch lower. Other than that, I think the door is great. The door itself, somebody was rushing on that frame and missed it by a 1/4 inch. I did put in the Anderson door and it went in real easy. That had all the spacers and everything ready, and it was just a matter of putting a few screws in and so on. So you guys see, this is the fit of the door from outside. with the Anderson door, and then I'll just show you what it looks like when you close the door. And that's the final door right there. Makes the house look a lot nicer, and it's got fairly good privacy, so if you walked up to it you wouldn't be able to see inside unless you came really up to the door to try and take a look through the clear areas. Hope you liked this video. Again, I'm sorry I rushed through it. I had a lot of issues with the baseboard being rotted, so I had to fix that before putting the door in, and then the issues of trying to get this all buttoned up before the cold weather took over. I did paint the trim and just kind of cleaned it all up. But again, as for the Anderson, love it. It's easy. You can pop the glass off and so on. For this Feather River door, there was just a few issues with the trim piece not being on straight, the lock not being totally, you know, plumb or centered for the lower one, and then a little bit of offset on the wood so that your trim took a little bit more to do. Alright guys, let me know what you think. Please give us a thumbs up, and hope you enjoyed. Bye.